This is Crsroli and the Crsroli podcast with my co-host Rhonda, and today again part 2 of Autism Awareness. So stay tuned for the Crsroli podcast in my mind. Let's go. What did he say?
They can still hear me.
Yes, they can see you too, actually.
Hey, everybody.
What's up? This is the Crsroli podcast with your hosts, Crsroli and
Rhonda.
I don't think they can hear you, Rhonda.
Rhonda.
Why she acting brand new? Huh? Why she acting brand new?
Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome again for another episode of, a continuation of the Autism Awareness. And we know that it's May 1st. We're fully aware that Autism Awareness Month was April, but we had such a good response last week, so we decided to continue it another episode.
Yep. So again, we're here, part 2. We had some great guests that came on and kind of gave us their intake on, how they, I don't want to say deal with, but how they live their experience with their autism children. And again, some of us have autism parents, just family members in general, because we know autism isn't just over at 18. A lot of people think only kids have autism, but it doesn't go away once they become an adult. It's there for the rest of their lives. We're fortunate that some of us are able to have high functioning kids with autism. So when they do grow up, they're able to just maintain a normal lifestyle.
Speak louder. Just kind of.
All right. So if you can hear us out there, just let me know that you can hear us. We're getting some responses that we need to speak louder. I don't know if they're talking to me or they talking to Rhonda, because she like
Probably me.
She like to whisper.
Because it was
when
my
she
mama.
Those.
Thank you, mama.
If you're out there, hit us up in the chat. Let us know you're out there listening, tuning in. Again, this is the Crsroli podcast, and we're streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. You can tune in on any of those platforms at the Crsroli podcast. Just put that in your chat, or put that in your search bar, and that'll pop up for you. But again, just tuning in off of, just recapping off of Tuesday's episode. Autism Awareness is here. It's live. Again, I'm a proud autism dad. There's plenty of us out there, proud autism moms, grandmas and everything else. We're out there, and we just love and support our kids, no matter what. And it's just a topic that I feel that needed to be brought up and heard. And that's where we are right now. Again, with our podcast, we will be talking about, all things top to bottom, just life in general, just everything that's going on, but we definitely want to get this first episode and part 2 episode of a serious topic, which is autism awareness. And she's playing on her phone because every time I give her the look over to chime in.
Actually, I'm not playing on my phone. I'm tagging people in as I was instructed to do.
As we say, tag a friend, bring them in.
Absolutely. So I'm over here. I'm working.
She's working. The co-host is working.
I'm working.
She's working on being a co-host.
Right. So I'm tagging them in and bringing them in. And also, too, we ask for your participation as well. If you know someone or yourself, go ahead and, chime in and let us know that you're here. And also tag a friend and bring them in. And, we'll get this started. Who is this? Hello, family. Is that Amber? Because that look like my Jeremiah.
We got Amber in the building. That's sis, and she was on last week on Tuesday, so we definitely appreciate her for coming in and sharing her experiences with us and letting us know, the things that she does with her son who is autistic. So appreciate you for joining us last week, and we also want to give a quick shout out to I I'll say Miss Skinner because we kept getting her name wrong on the last episode. But we want to give a shout out to her for stepping in with us also, and just reflecting on things that she's going through with her kids and autism.
Oh, yes, co-host. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, sis, for acknowledging that I'm over here working.
She's working. So again, if there's anybody out there, that wants to definitely chime in and give their input or feedback of, first of all, those that weren't aware of autism and the different things that we deal with our autistic kids, and those that just didn't know in general about autism and how the different levels and how deep it goes. I know we had a couple people last week that actually were talking about, that just these conversations gave them a lot of information on autism, and they were, and it just helps them to look out more and say, okay, I have a little more awareness, and I'm able to appreciate those first parents and then the actual kids, because the autism kids, they go through it themselves. It's not just the parents and those that are looking out for them that are sometimes feel like they're stressed in their situations. Even with the autistic kids, they have that pressure too of going to school, will their friends fit in, little things like that. So with that being said, they go through those stresses of, I know, like with Caleb, just the small thing of him getting on the bus. He loves to ride the bus to school. He goes to the bus, and he'll sometimes, if there's a new bus driver or the bus driver's sick or whatever, and then he's at the bus stop, normal routine. Then he sees that different bus driver, and he's like, "No, Dad, this is not my bus." And he doesn't want to get on the bus. And I'm like, "No, Caleb, this is your bus." I have to show him. I'm like, "Look, there's the bus number. It's your same bus number. There's your same friends that you ride the bus with. So this is your bus. So then he'll eventually settle down a little bit, and he'll go get on the bus and finish out his day. And then sometimes he'll get to school, and it takes a little while for him to settle down. So, he might go in and be a little off kilter because, his routine changed a little bit. But those are just those little things that, us as parents and just kids, they have those little stress moments of when things are out of order for them. They have it a little rough also. Not
Right.
just the parents and whatnot.
Right. So, Amber, she said, absolutely the kids don't understand what's happening to their little bodies, which can sometimes stress them out. So, that is absolutely correct. I notice all the time when we have to switch up the routine a little bit, that his little face kind of change. And
Right.
like, wait a minute, this is not what we're supposed to do. So, and we have to kind of get him, well, daddy, because of this, we're trying to, and I know it's frustrating for him. I know it's easy for us, but because we're setting the schedule, we're have to change up and stuff. It's easier for us, but for his little mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, this is not the routine.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Definitely picking him up from just this week.
yeah.
So he goes to the after school programs and things like that, and just this week the program was closed, so he had to catch the bus to his bus stop in opposed to catching the bus to his after school program. So you went to pick him up, and
Yeah.
first when I got back to him, or when he got back to me rather, the first thing, I asked him, I'm like, how's your day and this and that and that, and he was like, I'm supposed to go to boys, I'm supposed to
Yeah.
go to my after school program, and I'm like, well, it was closed today, and
Yeah.
then so then he went to his bus stop, and then you were there to pick him up, so that I know that kind of threw him
Yeah,
off a little bit.
the only thing that kind of cheered him up is we had to pick up Edwin and India, my kids, and so that kind of switched the mood a little bit. But before then, he was confused. He was just confused as first of all, why am I on the bus coming home, and secondly, why is Miss Rhonda picking me up? You know, that is not the normal routine. So,
Right.
back in our day when parents, parents they didn't have to explain to us change. We were just supposed to. We couldn't ask why,
Right.
or
Yep. Yep.
things like that. But I, it's just a different time, and you know what, kids do deserve an explanation
Definitely.
for most things. I'm not gonna say all things.
So you still a child.
Right, you're still a child,
Keep
but
you in your place.
for most things,
Right.
and I definitely find myself having conversations. It's not an expert. It's more like a conversation to explain to him the temporary change in routine.
Right.
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And then again with that change, it's where so it might be a situation where so just with this whole bus stop, so I didn't prepare him that he wouldn't be
Right.
going to his after school program, that he would actually be catching the bus to his bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of things, I mean, it can be going to play basketball or going to basketball practice. So when basketball season's over, I have to prepare him in advance, you know, tell him 2 and 3 days in advance, like, okay, basketball season's over, because every Tuesday he was ready to go to basketball practice, and then every weekend he was ready to play a basketball game or go to a game or
Right.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So with the bus stop, it was funny because I didn't prepare him for that, and when he gets up in the morning, some mornings he'll sit there and he'll go through the whole routine
Right.
because he knows his
Mm-hmm.
routine. It's like, okay, so you're gonna take me to the bus stop? Yes. And then I'm gonna go to school? Yes. And then I'm gonna go to my class and I'm gonna see my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go
Go
to
to
my after.
lunch.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to lunch, right? And then I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to my after program. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna come pick me up.
Right.
That's his routine. So, and that when we have to let him know ahead of time. Even with his mom, we gotta let her know. She let us know ahead of time. Like, no, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that routine, it can really throw them off, and they that stress for them is definitely there. So they have to work on that. I want to give a shout out to Nakia for coming in. How you doing?
Hi, Nakia. Thank
What,
you for joining us.
again, this is the Crsroli podcast, and we're streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. You can just go to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch and just put in the Crsroli podcast, and we'll definitely pop up. So, and if you have any others out there that want to chime in, tag a friend, bring them in, let them know that we're on here. We're streaming every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Today is our episode 1, part 2.
Right.
Because this was a good topic, and we had good discussion on Tuesday about, autism awareness, and things like that. So definitely, if you're out there, let us know you're out there. Make sure on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, so you'll be known whenever we do go live. If you forget, because I know you want to tune in. You got to tune in to the Crsroli podcast, because anybody that know us, they know we like to have some fun, and we like to clown, and we do get serious when we need to get serious. But
just talk, have conversation,
right,
and also too, we're gonna have different topics every week. So if you have some topics that you want to discuss, if you want to come on and talk about your business, your foundations, nonprofits, whatever it is, you can just let us know. And I did say this week that Chris will have information to contact us. So I'm about to put him to the test for that. How can they reach us?
So you can reach us, of course, through the messenger, either on my personal Facebook page, messenger, or you can reach us through the Crsroli podcast Facebook page. Make sure you like that page too, and again, you'll get notifications. You can reach us through those avenues, or you can reach us through my email. Let me make sure I got the right one. The Crsroli podcast at Gmail.
Ooh,
Yeah, that one.
okay.
I have another one, but I don't think you're gonna remember that one. But yeah, so you could definitely hit us up on any one of those. If you have a business and you wanna you wanna want us to shout out your business, or if you want to be a sponsor of the show and you want your business on as a sponsor of our show, definitely hit us up on any of those. If you know me personally, I don't mind. You can hit me up on my text messages. I don't mind. This is all just us getting out to the community and all those out there further that we just want to reach out and just have fun doing this podcast. I know I'm rambling, but that's just what we want to do. We want to have fun
And ramble.
and ramble and goof off
Right.
and have a good time.
This is what we do anyway. So we decided to just turn cameras on
Right.
and just have fun with it. Um, so I know we have a few people that wanted to come on and speak, and one very important person um, is Caleb's mom, Vivian. Um, we wanted to make sure we get her on the line and let her talk about her experiences with Tiger.
Tiger, yeah, Tiger. That's
Yes.
a Tiger.
So I'm excited about that. So she can just give us all, all the love that she has shared with Caleb and shares with Caleb, and anyone else that want to talk about some of their experiences with Caleb, because it's a lot of people that know Caleb and love Caleb, and when he went to school with me Friday to pick the kids up, and in the office, everybody just looking in his eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, his
He
eyes.
got pretty eyes, yeah.
And Caleb is looking like they just eyeballs.
Right.
Like, why are y'all all
He's like,
over me?
I know. I already know I got pretty eyes.
Right.
You don't gotta
So
keep
he's just
telling me.
looking, all shy and Caleb, we know you cute.
Right.
So
So with that segue, we're gonna go ahead and bring in Caleb's mom, Vivian. So we're gonna bring her in and let's make sure we got her and can hear her.
hi
Hi
Vivian.
guys.
How you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. I
I
am
heard you
so
mention
excited.
Tiger Girl. Yes, that's his
Yes,
name.
yes. We want to hear about Tiger.
Yes, yes. I
So,
feel
Vivian,
honored to be a
again,
part of this.
thank you. Thank you so much. We both appreciate you being a part of the show. And also, I personally just want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of Caleb's life. That
Yes,
we
yes,
all know about that, and it's even more because of Caleb being special. So
yes, yes.
again, my family appreciate and thank you for that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about and I know you being mom, you have 10 years worth of information that you can actually share. Well, we're gonna try to condense that a little bit, but we just want you to kind of just tell us, just tell us some of your experiences that you've had. We all love the good stories, but we have people that's listening that are really struggling with being a parent of
Yes.
a special needs child and adult. Some of them have adult children. I've talked to one lady at the hair salon the other day. She had 3 adult grandchildren that
My.
are on the spectrum, and
Mhm.
she was she had to get her some hair because she didn't have any more hair. Because she said she was struggling. So go ahead and we're gonna let you have the floor and just give us some of your experiences.
Well, first of all, I also want to thank you because it's definitely been a pleasure having you a part of Caleb's life. You know what I'm saying? I remember when you and I first had our first talk, and we were opening up to each other on the first day. God allowed both of our hearts to be open to one another. to know that Caleb's well-being was in the forefront. And that was the most important thing. So woman to woman, girl, we did it and we're doing
Yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Applause, applause,
I, I
applause.
can remember when we was
That's
having the
right.
conversation, and when I was like, when Chris telling me Caleb was autistic, and he was telling me some of the, and I was like, no, because my kids have all of them. No, he's not. He's normal. Because
Hmm.
my kids, I said, do I need to get my kids tested? Because for me, he never displayed anything other than just being
Hmm.
a kid. And
Hmm.
that's what we
Hmm.
love about him. He has
Yeah.
his moments, but we all do. So I
Yeah.
just had I that's what I struggle with, finding the differences in him. And
Well, it's
but
a blessing to hear you say that you didn't notice anything, but as his mom, and just those intuitions that I had being his mom, I saw things that were different. I saw things as I observed other kids that would be your typical children, uh, the behaviors that he wasn't quite doing, his nonverbal, aspects, things like that that I knew as he was developing. No, something's not happening around this time. Like something should be happening here. But our way of coming about identifying Caleb autism was actually unusual. It really didn't come from the doctor just outright saying, "Hey, we noticed something is different." It actually came a different way. For me, it was more so we started out with Caleb supposedly having behavioral issues in school that were leading towards referrals and suspensions. And I mean, there were so many that literally Chris can identify the stack was about this thick, about how many times that they would say Caleb hit someone or Caleb did this and Caleb did that. And knowing Caleb and his sweet spirit, I just could not accept that. So I just remember one day I prayed and I said, God, give me the tools. Tell me what to do so I can understand what's going on with my child because they're sending him home and he's getting referrals. And he said, go to his primary care physician. And I remember going in there and saying, help me. Those were the only two words I said to his physician. Help me. This is
how
not
old
my
was
son.
Caleb? How old was he?
And Caleb he was in first grade. He was in
Okay.
first grade, so that will put him at around six, think around six,
Mm-hmm.
7,
Okay.
6 years old.
Okay.
And she said she saw the desperation in my eyes, and I said, I know my son. This is not him. They were even attempting to put Caleb in a behavioral school, and I remember having an IEP meeting, and the principal from the other school that was behavioral, um, uh, she walked out of the meeting because she said, "No way, we are sending this child to a behavioral school. He will become a target." So when I heard that, that was like the alarm went off. And I said, God, I just thank you for people who interceded on Caleb's behalf along with me, knowing that Caleb was not behavioral. So when we went to the his primary care physician and I took those things, she said, let's send him to a neurologist. Let's send him to a neurologist. And I said, okay, didn't even know what a neurologist was, what a neurologist did. I was just in desperate measure to get my son some help. And so we did an overnight EEG and they did some evaluations and all that kind of stuff. So not only did we discover that Caleb was autistic, he was also epileptic. So he was having seizures. So a lot of, and he didn't have the kind that were convulsive or anything like that, but he had more so what they would call the mild seizures or the silent seizures, where he would go into long stares. And so all those things, which led to multiple referrals or detention, what you call those things, yeah, referrals that they give, they were for things like Caleb is ignoring us or Caleb was being defiant. Well, I kind of heard you guys say a moment ago that Amber said something about, they don't know what's going on with their body. So I totally agree, because that's what I would totally say was, at that time, Caleb didn't know what was going on. Plus, he was nonverbal, so he couldn't explain what was going on. So his way of expressing himself was physical, you know, because he couldn't tell you this is what was going on with me. So through the EEG, we found out that he had seizures and he was autistic. So from there, it was just like everything just did a 180-degree. Schooling changed. We got him in another school, better teachers, those who were more equipped to deal with the things that he had to deal with. And from there, Caleb was getting honor roll. Caleb was doing well, coming home with certificates. I mean, it was a total life change. So even though he was getting those referrals, I can truly say that even though that was a tragedy for us that he was having all those things, it turned into triumph because we were so more, he has other issues that he's dealing with the tumor and everything. So we were more so focused on that aspect of his life. So had those things not occurred,
Right.
we how would we have even come about knowing that he was having seizures or autistic? So
Right.
everything still lined up, everything still worked out for the good, and
Absolutely.
I'm grateful. So if I can elaborate, I would say more so how important it is as parents that we advocate for our children. That we
Absolutely.
advocate for them, and that we hold on, I have a call. Let me take this call off. I knew someone was going to do that. How
It
important
never
it is that we
fails.
advocate for our kids, and that we're not afraid, that we do not be afraid to have our children evaluated, because as we know, that's the stigma, especially in our culture, that we don't want to be labeled. We don't want our kids to be labeled. But I think sometimes we can do them a disservice, and injustice if we don't have them evaluated if there are signs that are indicating that our children have special needs that need to be attended to. So that's pretty much how we discovered uh, Caleb's autism. Was through bad, what they quote unquote say it was
Bad.
bad behavior, and it
Right.
wasn't.
Yeah, cause I remember it was a lot of times where it would be they would say something like, "Oh, he's not staying in his seat," or
Yes,
he's getting up, or he's being. They would call it disruptive, but it was in the sense of, well, for me, kids in kindergarten, first grade, they're all disruptive. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like kids being
yes,
kids. They're gonna be loud. Their attention span is gonna be a couple seconds. When doing work. So when we would get those, the notes sent home of saying those things, we were like, something was up. And then I remember also when I remember one semester the class had like 7 kids in it, and then the next time it had 20 kids in it or something like that. So then that's when we found out that was another reason for it was a change in his routine, like we were talking about earlier. So that made him do things differently, or act a little different, or feel like he wasn't getting, that attention that he was used to getting. So
Right.
just those little things kind of, like she was saying, put that stereotype on him of
Right.
being a disruptive or bad
And
kid.
it's
Yeah.
funny because remember when we first talked about this, I remember you telling me the story of the school. We're not going to mention the school. My
yes,
kids were at the school. Well, actually, Edwin, because he was in kindergarten, he was there, and they were calling every day. You got to come pick him up. He's being disruptive. He's this. He's that. And I just didn't understand because we didn't like what happened to the teachers or the administrators that handled actual discipline. And
hmm
but we found out a few years after that, after I took him out, he went to another school that he was actually ADHD. So
ah,
the schools and you can't. I mean, you can't really blame because of I don't know funding. We'll just put it on funding. We just gonna do that and qualified in those areas, special
yeah,
needs, where they can identify. certain behaviors in kids and say, okay, you might need. Can we? Didn't they test us when we were?
Yeah, when we
Seemed
were
like when we were
seemed
in
like yeah,
school,
everybody
we were
got
tested
tested.
at the school for
Seemed
something,
like it. Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
But and I'm listening to you, and I'm saying, that was such a blessing because, like you
Yes,
said, you wouldn't have never. He would have been labeled. He would have been labeled, and thank
yes,
God you all, the both of you together, had
yes,
just to okay, we're going to continue fighting and advocating for our son and make sure he gets
yes,
the correct care, correct diagnosis, the correct treatment, and
yes,
because you all are diligent about making sure he has his therapy, he goes to his appointments, and things like that. And I applaud all of that you all able to co-parent that way for the greater
yes,
good for Caleb. So absolutely. I
yes,
also want to touch on because we now Caleb is in music therapy. So I
yes.
wanted you to touch on that a little bit and how has that been for him? Well, I know we talked about the sports thing last week, but now
Yes,
he's doing music therapy. So how has that experience been for him and you?
absolutely. So again, going back to that, tapping in through prayer and talking to God and just saying, God, teach me to be the mother I need to be for Caleb. And so I will say this to tag team with you on the sports thing. I think that like with the sports thing, like I shared with Chris, I said it teaches him how to socialize. It teaches him how to interact and to be a team player and have all those good characteristics and morals that he'll need to be to once he grows up to be a man. And for but I know as a mom, me and Chris, we think a little different, and I'm more so like, okay, how can we get him to this place of independence? And because the doctors said that he'll be with us for the rest of his life. But my God, through prayer and faith, I believe that Caleb will grow up and be his own independent self, his own, and be able to go on throughout the world. And so structure is also important. I know with um, uh, playing sports and all of those things that you have to have the ability to know the routines and be a team player and all of that and know how to go up and down the court and all that. But Caleb has what I call a wandering eye. And what I mean by that is I could tell that when it's time to do homework, he has a tendency to look around, and I kind of picked up on it and I said, I think he does that because he knows that he's struggling with work. Or if he knows that he's struggling to read, he doesn't want to look at the assignment. And so, in order to deflect from that, he will wander or look off. Now, I do know that that can also be a sign of autism, that sometimes the kids, kind of look around and they're kind of disconnected from the environment. But I was able to tune in and notice with Caleb that it was done intentionally. And it was done intentionally because I would ask him, Caleb, do you like to read? And he would say, no. And I'll say, why? He'll say, because it's hard. And so I know that comes from the speech delay and the comprehension. And I said, okay, what can I do to get him to focus, to learn how to focus? Because even through his IEP plan, that is something that the teachers are also saying, that he doesn't focus, he doesn't look. And so God said, get him get him in some music lessons. So I reached out to Berjoya Perry, who's a dear friend of mine, and she teaches music lessons. But she then said that there's a school that does music lessons for kids with autism and is locally here in Port Orange. They're called Beachside Music Therapy, and they also take insurance, so we don't even have to, pay for his music lessons. So
Wow.
the purpose behind him learning piano was that he would learn to focus, because in order to learn music, you have to look at the notes. And so I just didn't want Caleb's learning to always be uh, so strict. I want it to be fun, and I know he loves the sound of music. When I'm in the choir or praise team or whatever, when he's listening to me sing, he joins in. And I know with Chris, with the music and the DJing, he loves being with that. So music was the way to go, because it's all around him, all the way around. So that's how we got into the piano lessons, was also to make it fun and something creative. Um, and also to get him, but mainly to teach him how to learn how to focus and be more structured. You know what I'm saying? That everything is not playtime. Everything is not about running up and down, but sometimes it's good to sit still and be more structured. So I will say that I've noticed now that when Caleb comes home and it's time to read a book or it's time to do his sight words, we try to pull that piano out and we do the little music with it while we're
Okay.
learning sight words. So now I'm incorporating music with his learning so that way it's fun and that he's
Okay.
not so focused on what he can't do, but he's more so like, what's next?
Right.
So that's, like,
With
okay, what's the next key?
Mm-hmm.
right, right. With that said,
Mhm.
I got a video. Well, we got a video, so we're gonna show this video of you and him actually doing some piano lessons or
Mm-hmm.
playing the piano. So we're gonna play that for you and let you see that.
Okay, you
Absolutely.
found C?
Yes.
All right. Repeat. Go to the top again.
Oh.
Go. Uh huh. Yep. That's a whole note. Go to the top. That's a whole note. At the top. All right, Caleb.
Yay!
Woo! My baby playing that piano,
Hey.
that keyboard.
How are you?
Say hi,
Ye-
mommy. Say hi, daddy.
Hi,
Say hi,
Daddy.
Miss Rhonda. Say hi, Mama too. That's Mama too.
Hi, Miss Daddy.
Say hi, Miss Rhonda too.
You know what's so wonderful about that video? It's so much that I see going on in the video. He's not only doing his music therapy, and he's there in his basketball jersey. Those his two favorite things now. So it's just so much about that video that just has me smiling. So it's just great. He has both of you just with him at all
Yes,
times,
yes.
and I,
At
I
all.
so appreciate that. Tell Caleb, Miss Nakia is saying hi, Caleb, as well. So
Oh, girl.
you know, and it was something else I wanted to go back to a point that you made. Oh, when you were talking about Caleb and he kind of not wanting to read because he felt like and last week Amber brought up the same point about Jeremiah. He's very strong in certain areas, but when it comes to writing, he doesn't want to. Was it writing? I believe it was writing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
Jeremiah is a whiz kid at
yeah,
math. So
and right, all of those things, but writing was not his favorite subject. So she has
Yes.
to come up with creative ways to incorporate, the writing into it too. So this has been awesome. I just like I could talk about this, all
I, w-
day.
I
right.
want to speak to that. I want to speak to
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
It's so crazy because, like I was sharing with Chris, I didn't know that Jeremiah was autistic until the podcast. That was never
Mhm.
shared with me.
Mhm.
So I always thought he was like, oh, he's such a smart little kid.
Yeah.
I always thought that
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
So but yes, so with Caleb having the tumor that, I'm sorry, let me put my face back in the camera.
Mhm.
With Caleb having the tumor, um, I notice sometimes he picks things up with his right hand. The tumor is wrapped around some nerves that affects his right hand. So I am still wondering if Caleb is really left-handed,
No.
or if he's been forced to be a lefty.
No.
Mhm.
You know,
He's a righty.
Whatever.
You can't have that
I'm
one.
a
Like,
lefty.
and you know what's so
you
funny?
know,
When we were at dinner last week, he was sitting next to my dad, and my dad was
yes,
helping him, and then he was using his left hand,
You're right,
and
yeah.
my dad we
uh-huh,
listening, we over there ear hustling, and my dad was like, "Oh, you a lefty, huh?" So
yeah, yeah,
Chris was like, "No, it's not,"
yeah, yeah,
So that's funny that you brought that up. He does
yes,
everything
and
with his left though, don't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
just about.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's by force. I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
lefty by force. And so I think that that's sometimes some of the difficulty that he has. But we had his IEP meeting this year, and we touched on that. And like I said, the team was amazing. What they did was reconfirmed a lot of the concerns that we have as his parents, and writing was one of the things. So what they said, because we're now in a world that is leading towards technology, that they're not going to really stress him out too much on the writing, but more so now we're going to start implementing the computer on a more regular basis. So now they're going to really try to get him to make sure that he's up to par on the computer, so that once he gets to middle school, that there won't be so much a delay, but he'll be caught up. Because if we start now, which is what they'll most likely be doing, let's go ahead and implement the computer now. And I said, at first I was like, but then I said, okay, well, let me not just wean that out, because if you think about it now, kids don't even write in cursive anymore.
At
You
all. They
know,
Right.
took it
there
out
Yep.
was
of
a
the
time where we
school.
had to
It
learn
was
cursive,
we
and
had
Yep.
to.
Yep.
think about your signature. When you write in cursive, your signature, that is how you identify you, so no one else could
Exactly.
steal your identity. But
Exactly.
now they don't have to do it anymore. So
Kids
now
cannot
kids are just
read in
writing their
cursive.
names regularly.
They cannot. So
So
it's
I
it's
didn't
really
want to wean
strange.
out that they wanted to move forward in him on learning the computer and drilling that in more so than, stressing him out with the writing. I say, well, yeah, we can still do the writing at home, but whatever it takes to just get him on task and caught up in school with the way school is going, then that's the way we'll follow the lead in that area. But we will still be writing at home.
Okay.
But dad has I call Chris dad. I say dad. Dad
Right.
has
Right.
uh what are the books? He's implemented these books, and I'm telling you guys, they are awesome. These books are awesome, but they have like this engraved uh groove on each letter that forces, kind of explain what you did, Chris, with that, because I thought that that was a awesome way to help Caleb with his legibility.
Right.
Yeah, and I can't even think of the name of the book right now either, but definitely there are books where it's kind of indentions on the
I took
letters.
breath.
So when
Mm-hmm.
they're actually writing in the groove of the letters, which that kind of gives them that of how you are supposed to write your A's, your B's, and all the way up to numbers, and it even does shapes. So definitely
Yeah.
that, with a lot of autistic kids, you figure everything is a routine. Always,
Mm-hmm.
everything is a routine. So once they get to doing their letters and alphabets and whatnot, then they go and their hand makes that movement, and it almost becomes muscle memory, because we already know their brains are just, phenomenal, right?
Right.
So then
Yeah.
that muscle memory just takes over, and with us, it definitely helps him with getting his writing and stuff down. I'll make sure when the show is over, I'll definitely put that in
That's
the
good.
comments, and
Right.
actually put it somewhere on there.
And also, Vivian, if you can, too, a great
There
resource.
it is. That's the book right there.
Yeah, so we'll make sure we put that in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, Vivian, if the music teacher, that if they don't mind you posting them, especially since they, because some parents say, I can't afford that. And that's a great resource. You say, well, they take insurance. So,
Yeah.
how many people knew that?
Right.
So,
Yes,
someone out there could possibly benefit from that. So I think that is great. So if we can get that information, so we can post that as well. I also wanted to,
absolutely.
Yolanda Pitt Moore, she said when parents are left or right-handed and are being trained by a particular parent, the kids are not sure which hand to use, and not just autistic children. And I wanted to actually speak on that, and I'm hoping my mother is still on here because I'm getting ready to throw her up under the bus a little bit. She said when I was a baby, I would pick up everything with my left hand. I would eat with my left hand, but she just did not want. She said look funny, so she would just take everything out and put. And I do think I have some, how they say the right hand, left brain thinking confusion. Sometime probably she would have just let me be left handed. So, but Yolanda Moore, thank you for that. You made a great point with that. We appreciate that. So we'll definitely put this information in the chat
Absolutely.
so someone could benefit off that. I love that.
Mhm.
And yes, Caleb, keep going with that music. I'm excited. I can't wait to go to the first recital.
Right.
I know.
So, and because I know Chris was saying we got to get him
A
a
keyboard.
keyboard
Right.
here, so when he come here, he can make sure he's practicing here, and keep that
Yes.
same routine. And I think that's great. With that, where's the ukulele? Does he play
So
the ukulele?
the little keyboard that we purchased that you saw him playing in the video was at the Five and Below store. One day I was just in there and I said, "Oh, well, just to get us started for now, I think this is sufficient." So it was a little $5, battery
Okay.
operated piano. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's something cool for if you just, if you're economic in the beginning. Because I didn't want to go all in and buy a full blown keyboard yet.
Right. When we
Beethoven.
first started looking, the guy showed me a keyboard. It was about big as this table.
Right.
I'm thinking, no, we don't want
That's
this.
your
That was a
that's your
great
battle
buy.
now, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He
was
tried
like,
he tried to sell us a $300 keyboard or something like that. Right.
like, I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think
we
that's
good.
what we're looking for. Not right now.
Right. Yeah.
Girl.
So,
Too funny, too funny.
right.
But yes, it's definitely been a beautiful journey. It's some days it's a hard thing as a parent, where you have your emotional moments. You wonder, God, if I'm doing enough, and then there are moments where you say, God, I just know you entrusted me with this with Caleb, and I just thank you because you thought enough that about me that I was equipped to be his mother. So I have to, I have my highs and my lows. That's just the
Right.
real side of me. It's some days
Mm-hmm.
it's good, and then some days it's like, okay, God, I don't know if I can do this. But
Trust me,
the
this it's the
village,
same
the
with
village.
the regular kids too.
Right.
I'm on my
Yes,
face all the
yes.
time.
Yes, yes, I tell
So,
you. But I think it's truly a blessing that we allow the village. I keep going back to that. I can't do all of this on my own. And I just want to thank, Chris for being such an excellent father. And Rhonda, I just want to thank you because even in Chris's absence, you and I have a dynamic that works for Caleb too. And I'm just so grateful for that because that's a dime a dozen,
yeah.
that, two women can work well together, for the sake of the children. And it can be done. It can be done. This is proof that it
Right.
can be done. And
Right.
so I'm blessed. I'm blessed. That's all I got to
Absolutely.
say.
Absolutely.
I'm blessed.
Y'all,
I'm still blessed.
look at you.
So
Look
it's a
at you. You
beautiful
got
thing. It's a beautiful thing.
it.
Yes.
Just blessed. Got blessed all
Yes.
around
Just
you.
all over the
They're
place.
gonna
So
call it, they're
there
gonna
you
call
go.
us the Trinity.
Yeah.
And it's good. I'm glad that we're able to do this so other people can see it's
Amen.
possible. And it's not just because you're autism parents. You're a
Come on.
parent at the beginning
Yes.
of the day. I'm a mom. My kids lost their father almost 2 years ago. So Chris
Yes.
has really just stepped in and just been there. Not
Yes.
don't even have to ask. So it's just sometimes it's just normal. It's how you were raised. It's just what you do. It's just routine.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
hard.
They still ain't
That's
cut my
right.
yard yet though. I'm still working on that. I need my yard cut. We had to cut yard. Hey, but listen, really, Caleb done cut my yard. He done, before when we was had a house, he was cutting our yard. So hey, they can cut yards too
They
now.
can.
But and with
Yes, they
that being
can.
said, that's the thing where a lot of parents don't understand. You got to treat your kids. And I hate to use the word normal,
Right, I
when
do
you
too.
but you have to
Typical.
treat your
Yeah.
kids, like you would like everybody,
Yes.
just because they are autistic or have some kind of disability,
Right.
they can still do everything everybody else does, and half the
That's
time
right.
they probably do it better,
Do it better.
you
And
know.
we talked about this
We
last
know
week.
Caleb can clean up better than all of us.
Right.
Right, yeah.
We talked about how he had me fooled all this time thinking he need me to open his chips or open his drink and all of that. And finally Chris said, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Wait, I gotta get him situated." He was like,
Milking.
"But he can do that." And I'm like, "No, he
Yes.
can't." So I
Yes.
had
And
to.
there are some things he can and can't do. I totally agree with you. I'm guilty of that too, Rhonda. There are some things where he'll come and say, "Mommy, can you just help me? I can't do this." And I'm like, "Bro, that's a t-shirt. You could take that off."
Right,
But he just want me
right.
to take that t-shirt off for him.
Eh,
Yeah.
You hit him with the right word, bruh. Cause I be
Bro,
like,
that's
bruh, for real, yeah. And he know when I
Yeah.
hit him with that, bruh, he sit there and start giggling
Right.
like,
Yeah,
bruh,
But you know
that's
what?
it.
I think a lot of it is because my kids are older, and here Caleb came in at 8 years. I think he was 8 at
Yeah.
the time. Now I have someone that I can do stuff for again because my kids are
Yes.
older and independent, and I get to fix Caleb's plate and watch him eat his meal because my kids won't even sit at the dinner table. You got to force them. And it was just little things like that just brought me back to my kids being that age, and Caleb
Yes.
just sucked it all in. So I
Yes,
didn't,
girl. He got it honestly.
so,
He
His
got
mama
it.
can eat. His mama can eat, girl.
right. So I was like, I love his appetite. He has a healthy
Yes.
appetite. He doesn't want junk food. He wants a
Mm-mm.
meal. He wants a plate of food. He walk in the house
Mhm.
like in the pots on the stove. Miss Rhonda, you cooking?
Yes.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
wait a
Yes.
minute, let me cook
Real
something right
food.
quick.
Yes.
So,
I remember when he was little, I'd be like, "No, I don't want him to have candy. I don't want him to have sweet." And then I look up and I was like, "Caleb, you want you want a piece of candy?" No. And I'm like, I wonder if he really kind of like adapted to that because he does not like sweets. He wants real food.
real
He
food,
wants the
real
real
food.
deal. So yeah.
Yeah, my
Mm-mm-mm.
kids are asked, can we go get this or can I have Caleb? No. Like
Right, he
we're in the
telling them
grocery
no.
store, seriously in the grocery store. My kids picking up all kind of stuff. Caleb taking it out the car. I was like, I love to go grocery shopping with Caleb. He taking all the junk food out the cart. So now they fighting in the store, putting the food
Oh,
and
God.
it's but yeah,
Yes.
it has been a joy, and I like I
Yes,
said,
it is.
I can't wait to see the rest of Caleb and
Absolutely.
his growing up and with my
Yes.
kids and stuff, and because that's their little brother. Period.
That's right.
At this point, you cannot tell them that, especially my son.
Yes.
That's his. Caleb, come on, we got to get you swagged out.
Right. Gotta get him his drip. He was like, no, Caleb, pull your shirt out, man. You got to be drippy.
Oh,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So-
Yeah, so yeah, it is too funny. Hanging out at the games. He hanging out with Edwin them at the basketball games. He walked right away from us and he gone up in the stands with the high school kids just hanging out,
oh,
chilling,
yeah.
Yeah. I see Yolanda was saying that like another thing with the autistic kids is assign them regular tasks and things like that, even if it's just things around the house. I'm pretty sure that's kind of what she's getting at, but
Yeah.
you do the normal things and they, because we're all about, and I mean parents with autistic children, because that's what we have, but also autistic young adults and adults. You have to give them that the normal things where they can succeed in the world. If it's that's where they go. into that real world of I can live in a house by myself, because I know when I come home, I gotta lock the door. I gotta make sure
Mhm.
my lights are off or on. I gotta make sure my water not running. I gotta make sure I keep my
Yes.
house clean. I gotta
Yeah.
make sure I wash my dishes. Just those
Yes.
normal, simple things that that when
We'll
we
bring them
teach
to
them
the
now,
independent.
and they just move
Mhm.
on into that
Right.
independence of, and then we feel comfortable to say, okay, my child gonna be all right on his own,
Right.
even though
Mhm.
we still gonna peek through the window to make sure they good,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
But so
And I
what?
and I know as parents, as extended family, we still have to fight for funding, fight for resources. Um,
Yes.
uh, the
Yes.
young lady that spoke last week, she said every time something is cut, it goes straight to the services for disability. That's the first thing to be cut. But
Mhm.
we have to
Mhm.
continue to fight for these things so they can have independent living and different things
That's
like this.
right.
And I've actually seen a couple on Facebook, and both of them are autistic, and they talk about being an autistic married couple. And I
Huh.
just thought, right, that was just so amazing. And I like I
Mhm.
tell Chris now,
Life goes on.
everything I make sure I tune into everything that has to deal with something with Caleb, because I want to continue learning. I want to continue to
Yes.
grow and to know. Like I said, y'all got a 10-year head start on me, so I want to make sure I'm doing
And
him.
we still learning.
Yeah, doing him a service. I don't want to come here thinking I know everything, because I don't. I'm still learning with my own kids. So the more
And they're
resources.
teaching us. They're teaching us. They're
They
teaching us.
are. They are. They are. So again, this
Yes.
has been another great discussion.
Discussion, great episode. We doing
Yeah.
episodes up in here. This is
You
the Chris Rowley
right. You
podcast.
right.
Let me get my plugs in. This is the Chris Rowley podcast, streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So go to YouTube, hit the like, hit the share. If you got a friend, bring them in. This topic today is on autism awareness. This is actually part 2. We started
Mhm.
on Tuesday for part 1, episode 1, and this is such a major topic and a major discussion for a lot of families out there, a lot of people, but definitely something that hits home for me as a proud autism dad. It hits home for Viv as a proud autism mom. It hits home for Miss Rhonda, a proud autism girlfriend. But yeah, again, this is just a big topic that a lot of people, and I'm not afraid to say it, a lot of us, meaning African Americans, are um I hate to say shamed of it, but just they
She said last week, protective.
right, they're
We're
protective.
protective of
Hmm.
their children
Right,
because of the stigma. So
right, yeah, that's put out
we
there,
just want
right.
to make sure. And like I said last week, and you said this is a lifetime experience. This is not just an April
Hmm.
Autism Awareness Month. You have 12
Mhm.
months
Right.
in this year to
You got
deal with,
12 months. You
to
got
live with, and
70 years worth of,
experience. Right.
you know.
So if we can bring awareness once a month, some type
Yes.
of resource, some type of just education
Hmm.
to someone, I
Right.
think, if we just reach one.
Right. And I definitely say all those that are out there listening, those that are listening that know people, definitely send them to it. Send them to us,
Page.
but yeah,
Yeah.
send them to the page. Hit me up on Messenger. I'm sure Viv feels the same way. Hit her up on Messenger,
Yes.
Leave their
and just leave
information
your information if you need help with anything, because everybody starts somewhere,
somewhere.
and we
Yeah.
started, I won't say lost, but we started, at a point where we truly didn't know where to go, what
Yeah.
to do, and it was a learning curve, and there's plenty and plenty of resources out there that can help, with getting you in a position to take care of your autism loved ones.
I want to
Yeah.
add too, there is a group on Facebook called Parents with Kids with Autism. there's a group that I've joined, and I hope that I'm labeling it correctly, but there is a group that I joined a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you, it has been so edifying to me because what I got a chance to do was to calm down and not stress out because what I was able to see was that, oh, okay, Caleb does that. Oh, oh, okay, that's okay. Now I see why he does that. So it's just so many parents that are on that group on Facebook, that everyone is sharing their personal experiences, their highs and their lows. They're very transparent in this group. And I tell you, it's been very, very beautiful being a part. So it's called Parents with Kids with Autism. So that will be another plug I would like. Now that speaking on what you're talking about, I just wanted to add that in that there is a social media group on Facebook for it.
Okay.
All
And
right.
if you can put that in the chat for us as well,
Okay.
we appreciate that. Miss
Mm-hmm.
Sophia, hi, Miss Sophia. She said this is truly a
Hi,
blessing,
Sophia.
bringing this awareness to so many parents. Yes, thank you so much for saying that, and we just want to continue the positive and some of the negative that parents
Right.
or loved ones want to share.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
again, like Vivian said, it truly takes a village to
Mm-hmm.
raise kids. Period. And
Mm-hmm.
so you need extra support with kids that are special. Um, so I was just sitting here
Special
thinking
needs.
maybe
That's
next
right.
week, we'll we'll have another show about just kids.
Right.
So we'll just come on in, parents.
Right.
We'll,
That we'll probably have
Yes.
like 1.5K
right.
people chiming in. Can I speak on my child? Cause man, my child crazy.
Right. And because I need some help. I really do.
Right.
I need some.
Do they have a regular kids group help
Right.
for parents?
So for kids
Yeah.
that's so they say not on the spectrum.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
Yes. Yes.
so we
Yes.
not doing
And
we
I
not
think I think my heart's desire uh is bringing together not only those of us who have kids who have autism, but those who what the word will be typical and atypical, but uh that find a way to, I wish we could just bring more awareness, not just for those of us who have kids, that we can compare stories, but my concern has always been how to get Caleb to make friends. He has plenty of cousins on dad's side of the family, but on my side of the family, there are no cousins that he can directly play with. So there's a tendency that Caleb gets most of his playtime on Chris' side of the family. So most of my outings, when we're going to the park, I'm sure you guys take them to the park too. But I think it's just so important that with our friends who don't have kids that are autistic, that we kind of bring some awareness to them in our community, that how to get their kids to be comfortable with kids who are autistic. How do we bring
yeah.
awareness to the children who are not autistic, not just the parents, but
Right.
also incorporate the kids who are not autistic into this to this dynamic, so that now that we're developing care, compassion, and empathy, to kids who are not autistic. So that way, because I remember Chris saying something on the last podcast that he thought that the kids are going to be moving towards a place where they look out for one another. You kind of
Right.
remember making that
Yep.
statement.
Right.
You said
Yep.
in middle
My.
school
Yep.
they might be identifying themselves, but in high school they might be looking out for one another. And so that's a concern of mine, is that Caleb doesn't get bullied,
Right.
or
Yep.
mistreated because of his differences. So how do we get kids who are not autistic to be more informed and say, okay, it's okay to have these play dates, and you know enjoy one another even though you have these differences.
So I think you just bringing this up is awesome that you're bringing this up,
Hmm.
because you say I wish that we could get where you're starting here, you're starting on
Yes.
this platform. Social media is is a wonderful tool that can be used to do things like this. And I think both of you have a great voice to bring attention to these types of things. And now we know that Chris and I have been talking about doing this for a while now, and it just happened. It just kind of just happened. But I think now, because of social media, we have these tools that you can just about do what you want to do and get these types of things out. So you have this vision, you have this, thought. Well, hey, let's do it. So we just start talking about it. Get online and we just start talking about, just start having these sessions. They have all other kind of foolishness online. So
another topic.
Right. That's another show.
That's another show.
So we definitely, again, you're your child's best advocate. So we can start somewhere. So we can just start having these conversations. So absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't mean well, I do mean, but I don't mean. So I'm looking at the time, and we are sitting around 8:00. And not that the podcast has to go off, but us as parents, Caleb supposed to be getting ready for bed.
You better know it.
And, so we're not gonna hold up.
Like what PJ last week? Was it PJ?
Oh yeah.
He turned the light off and everything.
Right,
it was his bedtime.
We had Miss Skinner on here. Her son. It was getting late, and he started shutting off lights. Like, Mom, we supposed to be in the bed, so let's go.
So again,
Caleb will be like, Mommy, isn't it time to take a shower? I say, okay, go turn it on. And then he'll say, can you just turn it on? Boy, you know how to turn it on.
Yeah.
See?
And then he'll go. The only thing I'm doing right now is probably laying the clothes on the bed, but he can do that too. I have to let him just navigate those drawers, because sometimes I'll be moving them around. So, but yeah, so going back to system, leaving things where they are so he'll know. But me, Chris, I'm always cleaning and moving stuff around. So, but yeah, he's like that too. Mommy, isn't it time to eat? I'm like, okay.
and Amber put on here talking about her son been in the bed since 7:15.
Like, really, the sun was still up.
Right, the sun's still up. Right.
Night.
Right.
Got to pull over the dark shades.
We got the hotel shades, the blackout curtains.
Yes, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
We definitely appreciate you for coming on, and sharing with us. We already know, but sharing to everybody else out there that's tuning in and listening, and that will listen in the future. I'm sure they will definitely appreciate, the words that you have put out to everybody, so they can kind of understand and get some knowledge on what, not just what it is to be an autism parent, but, just to let them understand, like, okay, I might see an autistic kid walking around and be able to have a conversation with them, or be able to understand what they're saying or doing, or, help them out in whatever kind of way, just little things like that. So, again, we definitely want to say thank you for coming on the show and helping us get this thing launched off. Because again, like I said,
and hopefully we answered a lot of questions for people. And between you and I, Viv, we probably answered some questions for some people that were wondering. And, so now they know. We good.
Inside plug.
Yes, look, that might be the next sitcom, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
We're gonna label it. It can be done.
Exactly. So hit us up.
NBC.
We want to play our own parts. Make
That's
this
right.
a reality show. So we are good. So we have answered a lot of questions
no
for
baby
folks.
mama drama.
Exactly. Exactly.
Off the chain.
Yes.
But again, like I told y'all before, this is the Crsroli podcast, and we do have serious moments, but we also like to, keep it real and laugh.
You're a clown. Yeah, we know you.
We like I'm a clown.
Yes, you are.
You everybody clowns.
Yeah.
We just put it like that.
Yes.
All right. You have any closing remarks?
Closing remarks.
I
Like
just
she
want
just
to,
won an
again,
award.
I want to
Right.
thank
You
you
just won the
guys
Autism
so
Mom
much.
Award. So do you have any closing remarks?
Repeat that
Yes,
because
just,
he was.
oh, y'all talking to me?
Yeah, go ahead and repeat that, Vivian.
Yes, I just want to thank you guys so much for having me on, allowing me to share my perspective, on Caleb's life, and just keep up the good work, keep it going, stay unified on this because this is going to touch the lives of many, many people. So continue on what you're doing, and God bless and prosperity. Yes,
Thank you so much. Thank you. And
yes,
thank you
amen.
everyone that joined in and for the comments in the chat. We'll make sure we respond to everyone in the messenger and get the information in the comments. Oh, where we put that in the chat? Yeah, we'll put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
we'll put something in the chat and also probably try to put it somewhere within the on the main page or
Yeah.
something like
Okay,
that. Yeah,
for
definitely.
the
Okay.
Beachside Music Therapy and the book for the
Yeah.
handwriting.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Okay.
definitely all of
Yep.
that. All right, well
All right.
again we will thank you and tell the man we say good night and get ready for school in the morning.
Right.
I sure will.
Thank you
Do you
guys.
want him to come
Good
to
night.
Caleb? Come here, Caleb. Let him say good night. And then it's shower time. Come say good night to Daddy and Rhonda. Miss Rhonda.
What he
Okay.
say? He don't want to take.
I just think Miss Hannah Daddy.
Okay, go
Good
ahead.
night,
What do you want
sweetheart.
to say?
Good night.
Good night. We love you.
Love you.
Bye bye. Good night, everybody.
All right, guys.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So that was Viv and Caleb. And again, this is the Crsroli podcast. We're streaming on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. And if you guys want to, I don't want to say I done forgot my train of thought. But regardless.
All the time.
All the time. You hear that?
It's
Okay.
another show, but anyway.
We're going to get there.
You hungry?
I can't eat.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah, okay. Let's just close it out. Let's go.
Just close it out. But this has been another good episode. And again, we want to thank everybody that did come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, we're streaming every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube.
I think we should switch that to Sundays.
Why Sundays?
I think this just felt right.
I don't know, because when you...
Let us know, guys. Sunday night and I'm putting him on the spot here. He probably gonna have something to say. I don't care, but I really think it just felt right tonight, opposed to Tuesday nights.
Well, do we need to go into that whole...
You go ahead, tell me.
So this was the original plan, because I'm going to tell it.
Here we go.
We already know most of the time I do my my DJ live streams on Sundays. Music is my therapy. Plug. But, most of the time we would do that. And then, so I said, okay, we're going to get the podcast going, the live stream podcast. We can do it on Mondays. We don't have anything going on Mondays, right? After work, 7 o'clock, we're not doing anything. Everybody's home, settled in, ready to go. People at home, I know you want to watch us because we just like to have fun. And then turn around, I get a message, a call, I can't remember which one. I'm finna start coaching volleyball this season again. And I'm like, well, when is that? And when do you think she said? Mondays. Practice at what time? 7. So I said, okay, let's just move it to Tuesdays.
Okay. See, if you're gonna tell a story,
That
let's
is the
tell
story.
the whole story from beginning.
Uh-oh.
I would not be a volleyball coach if it wasn't for him. I was never into sports or anything like that. But when I met him, he was coaching basketball. I don't even know how you even got me involved in coaching in volleyball. This is what, my 4th season?
Yeah.
This is my 4th season, guys, coaching volleyball. And I thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm glad that I got into it and got back to it. I know I played in junior high. Well,
Oh, you dating yourself?
I'm sorry, middle school.
Ah.
No, But I was on the court. I don't even think I touched the ball. But anyway, so I threw that in. I said, "Oh, I played volleyball." So he's like, "Why don't you coach?" I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And y'all know how these recreational programs, but they looking for parents that want to come do something. Oh, what
Right,
you doing?
so-
Nothing. Come on and coach this team right here. Your son play? Yeah, come on and coach. But,
Right, but it has been a joy. I'm so excited. We played our first game last week. We didn't win, but we had so much fun. I have a young team, but I think they're gonna get there. My daughter's been playing with me on school. She's very good. So I just have a good time. And I did say that I was gonna sit out this season only because I'm starting up my own business and I was working hard with that plus working full time. So I said I was gonna take a break, but I didn't know that Chris was scheduling the show for Monday. He didn't tell. Yeah, that's another show. We're not gonna get into that because y'all know how these men they don't communicate well. So that might be a show topic next week.
Ouch.
Anyway, but
jabbing me.
it's working out.
It is.
I think Tuesday was okay.
So
our Sunday slot just seems a little.
So somebody
just
wants
let us
to
know what
you
you
know
think.
what?
Amber, what you think?
We're gonna put out a poll. So
Yeah.
make sure y'all go to the Facebook page. It's gonna be and we're gonna do it on all three pages, right?
Okay.
We're gonna do it on all three Facebook. We're gonna do it on Rhonda's Facebook page. We're gonna do it on my Facebook page, and we're gonna do it on the Crsroli podcast Facebook page. We're gonna put some polls out that's gonna say what day do you all want to have the Crsroli podcast. It's our podcast, but we asking y'all when y'all want to have our podcast.
Without them, we'll just be sitting there talking to ourselves.
That's
true.
Yeah,
we need them.
Yeah, because we get top.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now you're saying
No, I didn't.
Okay, go ahead. All right. That's another show.
Speaking of business,
Yeah, but guess what I can do, y'all? I can go home. I live right across the street.
Wait a minute. You stay well?
That's another show too.
I did not know that.
Whatever.
Because I always wonder how you got over here so fast.
Tell the story. Tell the whole story.
So again, now we are. If you have a business, we are.
We will promote.
We will be promoting businesses. You know, so if you want to sponsor the show or support the show, you could definitely message one of us, and we'll get in contact with you about that, and we'll look into getting you on the show. Definitely do some spots, and we're always doing guest interviews. And one of our segments is going to be Hometown Heroes. So definitely we'll be reaching out to a couple people, or I won't even say a couple, as many as we can, as long as the show goes on. But we'll be reaching out to people that want to come on and again, like promote their business, or just people that are doing great things from our area, be it
in our eyes,
right, in our eyes. Yeah, it might not be this great thing that everybody feels like a person is doing, everybody's not a Vince Carter or something like that. That's home team, we all know. But just
it could be small things, but great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll definitely, chime in with us, hit us up. We'll hit you up, and we'll see about those different things. But again, this is the Crsroli podcast.
You tired, baby?
I'm just a little hungry.
Okay,
I'm a little munchy.
Guys, let me feed him so he get a little. Yeah. So anyway, let's go.
Let's go.
Play that.
All right.
Play the music.
Play the music.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. We brand new with this, so
we new to this, but we true to this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night. Where's the music?
I don't know where the music went, but we out.